All right, what is the cost of living in Washington, D.C.? We're going to talk about it today. I'm Melissa Terzis, D.C. Real Estate Mama, and today we have something different. This person is Dallas, Texas, and this person is New York City. They are not Mersina and Leah anymore, and I'm going to be Washington, D.C. So, I'm Melissa Terzis, D.C. Real Estate Mama, and living in Washington, D.C. is no joke. It costs a lot of money to live here. Prices in D.C. far exceed the national average. Of 118 cities, D.C. actually ranks 13th most expensive on Numbeo's cost of living index. The World Population Review, which does the cost of living by state, has D.C. second only to Hawaii, and then the top 5 is rounded out with California, New York, and Oregon. So, are you priced out of D.C.? Probably not. There's different neighborhoods here, and some of them are more affordable places to live than other places in DC. So what we're going to do today is dig in with Numbeo. And on Numbeo, you should know that New York City is the benchmark. You're the benchmark. She's not listening because she's on the subway and
Shut up. I'm taking pictures for my Snapchat story.
Yeah, she's very New York. So, and then we're going to compare that to, I wanted to compare it to a city in the South that would be on the more less expensive places to live. And so that city is going to be Dallas. You're Dallas. All right. You don't even know what that is. Oh, who shot JR? Anyway, all right. Start spreading the news. We're going. All right. So there's one thing that you need to know. The DC rarely experiences a loss in house value. Even when the market was at its worst in 2007, 8, and 9, it was just rare that people in DC lost a ton of value. The prices really only were off like maybe 10% of their previous highs during the original housing bubble of the 2000s. So the average home price in the entire metro area for 2020 was $585,517. In 2021, prices actually jumped up 9.37% to $640,387. Much of this was COVID fueled, as we know. The house arrest situation turned into house unrest, and people just felt like they needed to move out and get more space. So drilling down to just Washington, D.C., though, the 2020 average price for a home was $755,167. And that price jumped 8.36% up to $818,322 in 2021. In DC, homeowners spend on average 35% of their income on their mortgage. In New York, can you put your phone for a second, New York? We're at a subway stop here. I need you to tell me what percentage of your salary do you spend on your mortgage?
New York City is 69% is spent on mortgage costs.
Very good. That's what Numbeo reports. I mean, I don't know how anybody's getting that mortgage because debt to income aside, I don't know a lender that's going to let you have a DTI of 69%, but well, I know. That's what they're reporting. All right. How about you, Dallas, Texas? What do you got for me?
Dallas, Texas, you'll need to spend 14% of your salary toward your mortgage.
Good job, Dallas. All right. So how about price per square foot? Well, in DC, the average price per square foot when you purchase a property is $773 per square foot. New York, what do you got?
New York is $1,467.
Okay. What about you, Dallas?
Dallas is $307.
Wow, what a difference. Okay. All right. Average rent in DC. So studios go for about $1,500 to $1,800 a month. One bedrooms average $2,400 a month, about $2,450 they say. Two bedrooms are going to cost you an average of $3,462 a month. And then three bedrooms, even though they're very rare to find, or going at least in a condo situation, you're at this point moving to a house, are $4,282 a month average. There are cheaper areas for rentals. It's just all about location, 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 as we know. Let's dive into healthcare costs. So healthcare costs are going to vary depending on state laws, how healthy the population is in the area. DC ranks with the highest health cost at $11,944 cost per capita. So while DC is generally considered a healthy area, health insurance costs are still among the highest in the country. How about you, Dallas? What are your health insurance costs?
$10,190.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And then what about you, New York? What are your health insurance costs?
$9,851.
Okay, that's a lot of money. All right, utilities. I tried to look at utilities, but I just find that generally speaking, a lot of them are the same averages. They kind of work out to be the same throughout the country. I didn't see huge swings in them. So let's talk about groceries. All right, let's say a bag of groceries, all the same groceries in 3 cities. All right, the bag of groceries that she would get has food in it that costs
$61.01.
Perfect. The bag of groceries that I would have would cost $81.37 for all the same foods as Dallas has. How about you, New York? How much does your bag of groceries cost?
$100.
Yeah, I know, $100. So the same groceries you get for $61 in Dallas, you're paying $100 over here in New York. DC's right in the middle. All right, the national average, by the way, is $69.87. How about restaurants? Well, restaurants in DC, are they expensive? Yeah, just go to Baltimore. Believe me, they are really expensive. DC may charge $82, whereas your Baltimore bill is going to be $74. I actually call foul on that because I can tell you that we've gone to Baltimore and we feel like the price we pay up there is half of what we would pay in DC. Something else to watch is that DC's restaurant tax is 10%, whereas most other places don't have that exorbitant of a restaurant tax. So how about transportation? Well, a DC gallon of gas is almost as pricey as New York. So in DC, if you're paying $2.95 per gallon of gas, what are you paying in New York for that same gas?
$3.02.
Yep, and what are you paying in Dallas?
$2.46.
Yeehaw! It pays to live on top of the oil, doesn't it, JR? You have no idea who that is. Okay. All right, so how about a taxi? Let's say you've got a taxi ride and you initiate the ride. They usually charge you a cost to get in the taxi and then they charge you for 1 mile. In DC, that cost to get in the cab and then drive 1 mile is going to cost you $6.50. New York, what do you got?
$6.65 maybe?
That would be right. How about you, Dallas? What do your taxis cost?
$4.40.
Wow, so much cheaper. The national average, by the way, is $5.85. All right, now we're at childcare and school. These kids, they are expensive.
What are you telling them? To live in Dallas? Come to me, people.
Everyone's leaving New York. Nobody wants to live there. Even I left there. So how about childcare and schooling? Well, in childcare, you're going to pay an average of $1,846 a month. What about you in Dallas? What do you pay?
$1,089.
Very good. What do you pay for childcare in New York?
$2,603.
Yikes, that's expensive. All right, now DC has public schools and public charter schools. Those are free, plus there's pre-K that in some neighborhoods you can get for free. It just depends on the lottery system. There's a whole other thing that goes on with the lottery. Private schools are pricey here. They are gonna cost upwards of $35,000, maybe up to $45,000 per year, and yes, even for kindergarten. It's that important. So entertainment, it's not all bad news here. So there's really nowhere else that I know of that you can get all the museums you want for free. So that's what DC has going for it. As far as concert tickets and things like that, you're gonna pay normal price if it's a huge band, even if it's a smaller band at like a local venue, same kind of thing. Like you're gonna pay probably more than you would in another city. But for the most part, we do have a lot of free entertainment here in the form of our museums. Gym memberships. So a monthly gym membership costs about $85 a month in DC. That same membership is going to run how much in New York?
$110?
Yes. How about in Dallas? How much are you paying?
$39.
Oh, you can work out for cheap, Dallas, can't you? I know Dallas loves that. The national average, by the way, is $37. Now we're gonna talk good stuff. How about the salary that you need to live here? So the 2021 median income for a single person household in DC is $90,300. And for a family of 4, it's $129,000. So I think that the salary of $90,000 works relatively well for a single person, not for the family. Once you're trying to support 4 people on a salary of $129,000, you are kind of pretty much stuck moving to the burbs to get enough space, and you're gonna have to move further out, and your quality of life will suffer because of the commuting and all of that. Now, a person that's earning 80% of the median income here in DC is actually eligible for several affordable housing programs. And as household size increases, the median income rises by $10,000 to $15,000 for each additional person that you add to the household. So that's how you can see that, like, getting to the $129,000 in median income kind of doesn't buy you the same quality of life and lifestyle that the $90,000 for the single person does. So a salary of $100,000 in DC is comparable to a salary in New York. How much do you have to make to be comparable to me?
On $153,563.
Good job. And Dallas, how about you? Do you know how much you have to make?
60,875.
Close. It was 67,875. You hit me with your cowboy hat. Well, an income tax in DC is also a consideration because the rates range from 6% to almost 9% for high income earners. Most DC residents, though, are going to pay somewhere around 8 to 8.5% in income taxes above $60,000. Plus, there's $3,500 that everybody has to pay in that range. All right. Do you want to talk to me about income tax in New York?
Income tax in New York City, good luck. Between state and city, you'll pay around 10% plus flat fees for both, around $7,000 to $17,000.
What about you, Texas?
We pay none.
Oh, what? That's amazing.
How do you make money? We pay no income taxes.
They pay no income taxes in Texas. The average cost of living in DC is higher than most other cities in the United States, aside from maybe Boston, New York, and San Francisco. There's amenities and history here, though, and lots of culture that makes DC the great place that it is, and maybe makes it one of the best places to live. People are well paid to live here. The federal government is a huge machine of an employer, and all of the lobbyists and all of the other contractors that are associated with the federal government that all work here have some pretty serious job stability. This has held the home prices up throughout the periods of economic contraction, and people refer to DC as recession-proof. DC residents endure the high prices, realizing that there is a payoff for living in the city where the decisions about our country are made. So I am Melissa Terzis, DC Real Estate Mama, and I am checking out. Dallas took off already, but we still have New York here because she's still busy on her phone Snapchatting and whatnot. If you have any questions about cost of living, anything DC related, let me know. My contact info is coming next.